What up everybody? On today's video, I'm gonna answer a question from a reader. What steps did you take to put the pieces in place to leave your corporate job? And when did you know you had hit your tipping point? So let's first start with the financial plan. First and foremost, you gotta understand your health insurance situation. Are you going to do COBRA, which lasts for 18 months? Or are you going to buy your own insurance? Or are you covered through your spouse? Then I built a financial model. I basically took my monthly budget, multiplied it by 1.5 to give me a buffer, and then determined how much runway I would have until I reached a point of discomfort. I then moved that amount into a bank account, a separate bank account, and paid myself a salary so that I could keep track of the regularity of my spending needs and the depletion of my budget. But there's a saying that says the best plan never withstands full contact with the enemy, and I ended up aborting that plan within a couple months. Why? Because life is more complicated than spreadsheets, even your financial life. There's, first of all, a lot of unexpected expenses, but then there's this weird thing called the market. Your investments might go up. Then there's the issue of cash returns. If your 401k goes up, you can't really access that money, but it might offset some of your spending. The long and short of it was that the model was a good starting point, but eventually it gets too tricky. The real little trick that helped me get comfortable to leave my job was actually really simple. I had a little mantra where I would say to myself, what's the worst thing that could happen if you get to this point when you're uncomfortable with how much money you have left? And the answer was simple. I'll get another job. Yes, it might not be the great job I had before. I might have to take a pay cut. It might not be in the city that I wanted to live with, but to me, it was worth the risk of taking this entrepreneurial journey and knowing that I could re-enter the workforce, albeit not necessarily in the perfect circumstances. And here was one of my first surprises. Once you get unshackled from the corporate system, people are really willing to engage with you and find ways to get you paid. You could do consulting, you could organize events, you could start selling small things that are your hobbies. Really, the possibilities start to open up. So, when do you hit your tipping point? When do you know that you have enough going on that you're ready to go? First, it's important to know that kind of like being a parent, you're never really ready. So some element of it requires just trusting yourself and your commitment to the process. While you're working, I think it's absolutely critical and important to start testing little ideas. You could start blogging, start organizing events, start writing up business plans, but don't put too much credence into that because it's really, really hard to get that creativity going when you've got the demands of a 9-to-5 job. One good question I ask myself is, if I didn't have a job to go to, how would I spend my time? And that doesn't necessarily mean doing things that will make you money right away. It could be cultivating hobbies, reading, thinking, traveling. But again, once you create that space, the possibilities will really open up. Again, this depends on how much financial runway you have, but think about it as a horse with blinders. When I left finance, I was just like this. But as I started to step away, things really, really opened up. And now I'm making YouTube videos. I thought I was gonna be a fintech investor or entrepreneur, and look at my life now. Once you get out of the corporate system, the key is to start experimenting. Try new things, have conversations that you would have never had before. Just keep iterating, and remember, you don't need to attach to the expectations that others have for you. Parents, friends, old coworkers, they're all gonna impose their worldview on you, and you need to really have the kind of emotional fortitude to say, no, I'm gonna stay in my lane, I got this. And you know what? You do got this. And I'm always here to help. Hit me up with any questions. Thanks.